we did these things called Refresh that I actually loved. There was just a lot of like work to do behind it. Mm-hmm. And it was basically just taking like a couple verses from Psalms, breaking it down and like doing breathing patterns to, I know it sounds very Sonoma County, right?
It does, man. I got to tell you, it sounds very Sonoma County.
Yeah.
You guys are doing yoga in the middle of that too, right?
Yeah. We were
yoga
like,
pants on. I can just see it now. Hey, welcome to Refresh. You guys got your yoga pants on. You ready to do some breathing exercises? We'll throw in some Psalms. Hello and welcome back to From the Garoffice. My name is Micah Foster, your host for this video podcast. In today's episode, I speak with John Pita, who is a church planter and pastor up in Rohnert Park, California. And they had just moved in. His church had just moved in to a brand new to them facility right before COVID-19 hit. And so they had to pivot a lot in this time. So it's a fascinating conversation. We also talk about digital citizenship with our kids and how to handle social media as pastors. So I hope you enjoy. John, thanks for joining me on the podcast, the video podcast today. This is From the Garoffice with Micah Foster, and this is John Pita. John Pita is a pastor of a church in Rohnert Park, California called Discovery Church. And so I texted him, watched some of the stuff they've been doing online or from online I've been watching. And so I wanted to get to know what they're doing. I mean, you guys have been doing some creative, some innovative things. You guys learn from a lot of different people than we do. And so I'd love to know how you guys adjusted. So first, I guess before we get into any of that, just tell me a little bit about yourself. Give us some context for your life and your family.
Yeah, for sure. First off, thanks for having me. This is awesome. Just to be here, and the fact that you reached out to me, it's just really cool, man. Like you'd said, I pastor Discovery Church. We planted in February of 2014. So we just celebrated 6 years. 5 years was a big deal, man, because I mean, the stats of church planters not reaching year 5 is dismal, man. And so since the very beginning, that was kind of my goal. I didn't think past year 5. I was just like, I want to make it to year 5. I don't want to be a statistic. We celebrated 6 years, and through this journey, I now have 3 kids. I had 1 kid when we first started, then a second one, and then now we have a third. So that's been fun. That's added, to the excitement or limitations, however you really look at it, of what my wife and I have been able to do since we started Discovery. So
sure. So all right. So you're 6 years in.
Yeah.
And right after your 6-year anniversary, right? And you guys moved into a facility, right?
We did. Yeah. Thank you, COVID. So we moved into a brand new facility. We've been portable since the beginning. And in October of last year, we began the talks of taking or leasing out this amazing space, man. I don't know if you remember Rohnert Park much, but we share walls with the movie theater. We're right across the street from Target, and right behind us is Rebounders, the jump house place. So it's amazing because from the very beginning, we've like our prayer for church is like, hey, God, that you would allow us to be a beacon of hope in our city. And fast forward, he placed us in a spot that is literally the central hub of Rohnert Park. And so,
is
January
is that close to like, the freeway runs right through Rohnert Park, the one.
Yeah.
And so, what I remember about Rohnert Park, right? You got Sonoma State,
right?
You got In-N-Out,
right?
spent a lot of time in Rohnert Park, I guess, in and out. And there was an indoor paintball place that you and I went to, and we actually had our student ministries battle through at one point, which was fun. Yeah. And then there was an Olive Garden.
Yep.
There was like some other restaurant, maybe Chili's or something like that was down the road. That's pretty much all I did in Rohnert Park when I was there. So you guys are right in the middle. I think I went to the theater one time, so I kind of get it where you are. Yeah. You guys are right in the middle of Rohnert Park, which is a great location.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's a phenomenal spot. And really, I feel like Rohnert Park has always been the capital, if you will, of Sonoma County in regards to family hub arenas, right? So like Scandia, Chuck E. Cheese, the movie theater, and then Rebounders, the Jump House. And so that it's kind of like the place where families come. And so, we moved in there January, and we were seeing the best, just like numerical growth that we have had. And then all of a sudden, March 15th happened, and we had to close our doors. And so we really haven't been able to tap into to all the perks, if you will, of not having to be portable. So that's kind of a bummer, but we're just trusting that God did lead us to this place for a reason, Right. So, yeah.
So what did you guys do immediately? I mean, they said, hey, you can't meet in person, or you can't meet in person for a certain amount or a certain amount of people. There's been all kinds of different stipulations, but what did you guys do in response to that right away? What was your first response?
I think like most people, we thought it was just going to be for a couple of weeks, know? And so
did we.
So we're like, I remember that Sunday, the last Sunday, March 15th, we were planning to have, like, obviously there were talks about COVID, but like there was, like, it wasn't as famous, right? Like as it would eventually become. And so we were like, hey, we're still going to have service, so come on down. And that morning when my team got there, we started setting up. We got word that Rohnert Park mayor had let out a statement saying, hey, this thing's for reals. I think someone had just caught it in our city. Right. Okay. And so we're like, okay. So we actually canceled. So we were there, and we're like, hey, for the people that are here, we're going to worship a little bit.
Right.
And then we're going to leave. And so, but I was like, hey, we'll be back in a couple weeks. That's where I was going with this story. Right. I was like, we'll be back in a couple weeks, and we'll see you here. God bless. And that was it. And then we realized that wasn't, that was even close to what to what would end up happening. So we've just been trying to keep our head on a swivel, for sure. Just trying to navigate through the fluidity of this pandemic virus, whatever you want to call it.
So what sorts of alternative things have you done to try to keep the mission going, post March 15th, March 22nd, because we had service the 15th, and then it was like, and I was like, hey guys, listen, I know this is going on. I know that, there's a lot of talk about this, but for right now, our community seems pretty safe. There's no indication that it's here really. Right. And then like Wednesday that week, I had to put out a video. Yeah. I know what I said on Sunday, but things have changed. So we're changing our response.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what kinds of things have you guys done differently? Because I know that you've done stuff. Let me back up. When you guys, even like through the past 6 years, you guys have utilized like live interaction video online stuff off Sunday. I've seen you, do like, I don't know if it's like a week of prayer or whatnot, but you guys have utilized like live interactive internet video to do things before. So this wasn't completely new territory to use that.
Right. Yeah. We've done stuff in the past for sure. I think honestly, man, like at the very beginning, it was all a matter of like trying to figure out what we're going to do, you know? and I think like a lot of churches, what I've seen with a lot of churches is I feel like we were almost golly, this might come out like weird, but overcompensating for not meeting. So like we were like, hey, we're going to do something every single day of the week.
Gotcha.
We're going to pray you know, like all these Zoom things. And like, I feel like for a lot of us, like we came, or at least for us, we came out strong. Like, hey, we're doing all this stuff every day of the week. We want to, again, for me, it was like overcompensating for the fact that we couldn't meet. And, you know, honestly, so this is just going out to pastors.
It'll go out to whoever will watch, but pastors are the ones who'll be most interested. All right. So anybody can watch, but
yeah, man. I think I was like, for at least me, throwing out so much content at the beginning was trying to affirm the value of what we were trying to do as a church, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, because you go from like this chunk on Sundays where you put so much energy, so much emphasis, so much time, so much preparation. And then that in-person thing is gone.
Right. Yeah.
Suddenly. Yeah. So it's like, well, why do I care about church?
Yeah, exactly. You know? Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, we did these things called Refresh that I actually loved. There was just a lot of like work to do behind it. And it was basically just taking like a couple verses from Psalms, breaking it down and like doing breathing patterns to, I know it sounds very Sonoma County, right?
It does, man. I got to tell you, it sounds very Sonoma County.
Yeah.
You guys are doing yoga in the middle of that too, right?
Yeah.
We were yoga pants on. I can just see it now. Hey, welcome to Refresh. You guys got your yoga pants on. You ready to do some breathing exercises? We'll throw in some Psalms.
Yeah, man. It was very, very new age, but it was very scripturally based, right? So like, but we were just trying to navigate the fear and uncertainty that I just felt like our church was going through, like at that moment, you know. I think like now, like the fear that is now compared to the fear that was at the very beginning of this thing is completely different. I think people are scared now, but I think like when this first started, like they were out of their mind scared, if that makes sense, you know? And so we just wanted to create avenues where they could try and like, just have an opportunity to like to breathe and to just reminisce on God's faithfulness, you know? And so
but not breathe together. So that's the whole thing. You just don't want to breathe together, not in the same space.
Yeah, exactly. I don't even know if like we knew that breathing was bad at that point either. Like it changed so much, you know? But yeah, so we did things like that. We did live through Facebook and Instagram live prayers during the week. And so we were right out the gate, we were doing 3 days, sometimes 4 days a week outside of a Sunday of just trying to create content for people. So,
wow. So you say you overcompensated in the beginning, and then you've swung to a better pace?
I think so.
So what are you doing currently?
Sure. Yeah. So I think at first there was no contact, right? So people were literally locked in like it was actually my favorite because there was no one at the store. So there's no line, there's no traffic on the street. It was like amazing, right? For people that were able to still go out there.
Right.
But there was like you could not have any contact. And so that's why we were creating all these things online to try and, to fill the void, right. Of contact. But now, life is kind of resuming in like a very safe way. Right. And so now we're creating opportunities where people can interact, as safe as possible, but actually like in person, So, one thing that we started doing, what we called it Park and Pray. And so we set up a tent, we set up some cones at our new place, and we had people drive up, park. We would, my team would go up to them with masks on and everything and just pray for them at their car. And then we designated like this big open space where if people wanted to get out of their car and if they felt comfortable socializing safely, then they'd come. We had ice cream, we had beverages for them, just to create that interaction, So we've done that, or we're doing that. We're doing, we call them brown bag Sundays. And so we did one in July, and we're also doing one coming up August 2nd. And there's this amazing restaurant in town that has this outdoor, just beautiful space. And so we've met there, and we've done worship, and just, again, creating opportunities for people to connect outdoors, right? People seem to feel more safe outdoors. So we're trying to do things outdoors. And then we started watch parties. So we've been doing watch parties. This will be our second week doing watch parties. And so again, that just allows people, if they feel comfortable, to stream our Sunday church at home with other people, rather than just by themselves, So
yeah, we've started kind of talking about the watch party thing for us.
Yeah.
And so far my sense is that people are not yet very comfortable with that.
Yeah.
And a lot of it has to do with kids. There's a lot of kids. Yeah. You got kids, man, doing trying to just watch yourself is a challenge.
Yeah.
For a lot of people. We have some single parents that are like, I'm sorry, the online stuff is not working for me. I can't do it.
Yeah.
And I get it. I understand. They're like, yeah, I can't join in because we have a couple of small groups to meet through Zoom. They're like, I can't join in a small group. I can't watch the service. I mean, in reality, right? They're probably not going to watch this. In reality, it would just be like a time when it's very inconvenient at night after the kids are in bed or during nap time or some other time when they would rest or like not have anything they have to do, or they're catching up on the latest Ozark or whatever it is they're doing. So in reality, people they can find a time even if they're a single parent. However, I understand the difficulty that would be for someone. So it used to be that they could come to a service and hand off their kids for an hour.
Right.
And then they could sit in the service, and even if they never paid attention, they'd have an hour away from the kids.
Right. Yeah.
And, it was the best. It was the best. This is a pastor confession. I should have a little jingle for that pastor confession time. The best is like, I can see when someone's nodding off in a service. It could be like, I am the most excited about what I'm about to say. I've prepared, this thing is good. I feel like it's from God and it's going to make an impact on someone's life. And then I see a guy in the second row or something. And I'm like, Come on, man. You're killing me right now. Dude, come on. So now I can't see that. I assume it's happening. Someone's on their couch nodding off just because they're on their couch. It's comfortable, whatever. Right. But I don't have to see it. Yeah. I'm like, and you can come back. You can watch it later. I don't care. It doesn't impact me.
So I don't know about you, man, but like for the first, what are we, 4 months now doing this?
Oh man. Yeah.
So for the first 3 months, God just recently healed me from this, is like I would focus on Facebook.
Oh yeah. The number.
And like, I wouldn't even be paying attention to anything. I'm just like, don't drop. Oh, it dropped. Or yes, people are, it's, so like going to your nodding off gentleman, like, that had been the struggle for sure.
So let me ask you this. Are you actually live when you do those online things, or are you simulated live?
So for our Sundays, we are not live. We're premiering it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
I feel like it takes a real special skill.
Yeah.
To do that live, and I just don't feel that I have it at this point because the amount of distraction, is so crazy when especially if you're the guy,
right?
I am creating 99% of our video content, editing, everything. And then I'm setting most of it up. And it's all happening in this space, in my garage office. And mind you, right now it's 94 outside, but it's supposed to be like 102 outside. And so I've got a little space cooler that you can see and you can hear it.
Oh, yeah.
And so I'm like, I'm not about to turn that off even for great audio. It's not happening.
Right.
So
it's not worth it.
I'm telling you, I will be sweating. But, so I've collected over the last couple of years enough gear and things personally and from a side business we own. And the church has some gear that together I can make things happen technically and for video and audio and stuff. And so for me, I'm like, if I'm trying to do that live, first of all, I got 3 kids and it's an unpredictable environment on Sunday morning with my family. Like the kids could be a mess or they could be great. And, I'm just imagining if I were going truly live on Sunday morning,
the chaos,
it would be a killer. Like no one would want to watch that because the kids would be coming in, there'd be screaming or something happening in the background. And I'd be like, I'm lying. And it was just be not a pleasant experience for anybody, including my family. So I decided early, like, okay, we're not doing like live. I mean, I may go live on Instagram for a little bit or something, but it's not going to be like the service, it's going to be something extra. So I'm with you on that. We're premiering. We tried a couple of different ways to premiere, but we're native premiering.
One thing that was fun that we no longer do because we're doing watch parties, but right after our premiere, we would send everyone to our Facebook and we would do a thing called after party. Mm-hmm. And I would have like special guests come on and we would just talk about the theme of the message. And that was a cool way for people to interact with us. And I never thought like interaction was a big deal that people would want, but they actually liked that. So I thought that was kind of cool.
We've done a few Sundays where we utilized that feature that Facebook introduced in Messenger called, was it Rooms? Messenger Rooms?
Yeah.
So we have a Messenger room in our like Two Cities fam Facebook group. So we have a couple of private groups. And the reason they're private is because I don't want any crazy to go in there and be able to start a room and have whatever happening. So, so people can request to join and we, do we know this person? Is this a safe person? Quick background check. So, but you can go in, you can create like a chat room, a video chat room, just like a FaceTime or whatever, but it's through Facebook Messenger. And so we've done that a few times right after service, and I'll just go in there and anybody who wants to come hang out for a few minutes, talk about whatever, say hi, check in. I just call it the lobby. Come check out the virtual lobby if you want. Come hang out. usually 10 minutes or less. And that most people never use it. However, I feel like single parents and single people who are craving some sort of community or connection are most likely to go in there, and it provides something, some sort of interaction anyway. So that's one thing we've been doing.
Yeah, we did a thing called StreamYard, and so that helped us to like brand our like any live videos that we were doing. It really helped, like in our mind, just to make it feel more official of like what we're doing. So yeah, just trying to be creative, man. You know.
So what? All right, thinking beyond COVID, we have no idea how long this thing's going to last. We don't know how many times Newsom's going to shut down in-person services. We don't know any of that stuff. Right. We do know that it's not a surprise to God. Like he knew all along this was going to happen.
Right.
Not surprised. Yeah. And he's positioned us for such a time as this. And he's equipped us for such a time as this. And he's called us for such a time as this. And so just thinking about kind of the model we've been handed with church services and what we've had to adapt to for the time being and how all the creative ways are doing that. If you had to kind of venture a guess as to what kind of the new coming out of this might look like, because it's probably going to be different in some way. If it's not different, maybe we've missed something. Maybe we've missed the whole point. Maybe we've missed what God's trying to teach us in this moment and how we're supposed to adjust things. So if you had to venture a guess, how do you think the church might be better moving forward, having been through this?
Yeah. So I think one of the biggest revelations that I got through this virus, what do you call it? Like, I hate saying the C word, man. I don't know why. Like this.
You hate saying COVID?
Yeah. I never say it, like, ever. So I don't know why I have a problem.
Don't say it because then you catch it.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are using the word pandemic right now or whatever. Yeah, I get it. I get it. It refreshed me in regards to having relationship with the people in our church, you know? And so just in the way that I so like, for instance, I would call people during this time and just like, hey, just checking up with you, which I've never done, right? Like, I've done it with people that I know and people that like high capacity leaders at Discovery, but I've never just called random people from Discovery to see how they're doing. And I started doing that, man, just to check in, you know, let them know that, hey, like, we care. And the excitement and the just their gratitude of me calling them, I was like, really? Like, that means that much to you? Like, me calling you? Right. Like, that's like, in my mind, it's like, it's just me. Like, it's just me calling, you know? But and so for me, like, it's placed a higher value with just interaction with people. What's funny is that I met with my lead team before this year started, and we were talking about just, you know, things that we think God is wanting to do in 2020. And one of the big things that I feel like that we came to a conclusion with is that we got to get back to the people, you know, get back to remembering this is about the people. This is for the people. And then all of a sudden,
this pandemic hit, man. And then like it for me, it kind of was like a confirmation, right? Like we prepared our hearts for this back in October, November. And it was almost like, hey, like, what if this is why God was preparing our hearts for, like, in 2019 for what we're living through in 2020, man. And I got to like shout out to my lead team, dude. They've been phenomenal. They've been consistently reaching out to like every person that we've, granted, like we don't have a mega church, but every person that we have on our database, like we've been connecting. For Easter, we dropped off little basket boxes to people. We've been writing postcards, and so like we've just been really trying to engage with people, because that's kind of, again, going back to November 2019, that's what we felt like God was trying to just get back into our hearts. So that's interesting. You said you dropped off baskets. We recently decided we were going to drop off little goodie bags for the kids. Right. And it was supposed to be like celebrate. It had some like, I think it had some glow sticks and like those little pop-it things and things like that. And it was we were going to drop it off before July 4th. They could use it to supplement their celebrations and stuff. And it'd just be a fun thing. And then, so we got some of them dropped off to different people who were going to then distribute them. And a couple of them went to houses. And the person who was putting them together and dropping most of them off was our children's ministry director. And she called me after she left several with us to distribute as well. She called me and said, I've got some bad news. We were exposed to COVID over the weekend and we didn't know it. And my sister-in-law is positive. And so we have to go get tested. And we just made these goodie bags and dropped them off. She's like, I don't know what to do. I was like, wow, you just take care of yourself. Just give me the list. Who'd you drop off? Who has had contact with the bags? I'll call them and tell them to, quarantine their bags for several days. And then, and I'll get back to them on the results. Oh my goodness. Thankfully, their family is negative. None of them had it, but it just introduced a possibility. Sure. That I was like, I just didn't think that would. I really didn't think that would happen. Yeah. And I think that's the issue. And that's I think where a lot of churches are having a lot of trouble right now is there's been a couple in our community, rather large churches, that opened up as soon as they could. And then immediately they had to shut back down because someone tested positive and exposed, 100 people or 200 people or whatever. And so there's all those scenarios and you're like, oh my gosh. Yeah. What we don't want to do is be the epicenter of some breakout in our community. Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So it's hard because there's this balance, between it all. There just is. There's a balance. So, and then for us, because we're a small church plant like you, but smaller than you guys, I believe, and still very portable, renting, all that kind of stuff. Our facility is not open. The facility we rent from typically. And what that means too is if we can have children's ministry, then we're asking people to come sit with their kids in service. Well, again, single parents, they're going to be like, good luck with that. I'm not sitting through service with my 3 kids or whatever. Yep. And then, and then it just the volunteer, because we have older people who even volunteer, they need to stay home, or they compromised immune systems need to stay home. So the numbers of what it takes to pull off what we do are not possible right now. Right. So we've made the decision just to continue doing online for the time being. And it's introduced a lot of conversation into our leadership team,
We have a fantastic leadership team as well. And as soon as it's hit, we started doing a weekly Zoom call once a week, just a couple hours one evening, where we pray and we talk through scenarios. We talk about the latest updates for our community, recommendations, what is the wise thing for us to do in light of all those things. So it's been very good to have those conversations and to have some different people to be involved in those. And now we're in the midst of a monstrous conversation. Do you follow Carey Nieuwhof at all? Do you know who that is?
Yeah, for sure.
So he's been saying for years now, maybe 2 or 3 years, about this kind of shift of culture that's going digitally, streaming. All these things are bigger than they used to be. And now the virus has sort of sped up the process of those things. And with the launch of Disney Plus and other services right before or during this, you can see that a lot of people are getting their content through streaming avenues or binge watching things and stuff like that. He's been talking about those things for years, and that's going to have an impact on the church. And suddenly it has a giant impact on the church because people can't go, or it's not wise to go, or they have a compromised immune system in a lot of places. And so we're now talking through all those things. What does that mean for the future? Does that change things for the future? Will that change things for our future? Are we going to adjust some of our strategy to better serve the population that we are now ministering to right now?
Right.
So it's a big conversation. And thankfully for us, at this time, we are not locked into a facility. We're not locked into anything like that. And so it's been a blessing not to have that. We did lease a facility for a couple of years ago. And graciously, God directed us out of that.
Yeah.
I think to prepare us for a time like this, because, man, I don't know what we would do if we had to pay rent. So what is your facility doing for you? Are you paying rent? Are you on pause for that? Is there some kind of discount? Like, how are they working with you?
Yeah, man.
What's going on?
So they're taking the months that we're not there, and they're just adding it to the back end of our lease, which I am very happy for, because so we have a 5-year lease with a 5-year option. And like, whenever I signed that, man, I was like, I want to be at the end of this 5 years, I want to kick butt so hard that like we have to get something bigger, you know? And so I'm just glad that these dead months, right, that they're not eating up, like that our 5-year goal is still 5 years. Well, minus January and February, you know, but I'm super gracious to the owner of the complex that he was willing to do that.
Wow.
So, yeah.
So when you say that, does that mean like your 5 years is on pause? Or does that mean you pay more at the tail end?
So we're not, it's as if like our lease isn't starting yet.
Okay.
Right. So,
but you can utilize it for recording messages.
Correct. Yeah. Correct. Yeah. We have been, we're actually about to begin our construction, in there, hopefully very soon. That's another reason why. So even when, the county and the governor said that we can meet, we decided not to. And the big reason was for construction. We wanted to start the construction that we weren't able to do before we moved in. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we've hopefully that'll get started. So when we come back, everything is ready. Because we didn't even promote, honestly, our move. Mm-hmm. It was just like, hey, let's just move in there, and
right.
and just, as it works out, we'll start gradually doing stuff. But
yeah.
So yeah, I'm hoping that everything that when we come back, that we'd be able to start, it'll be, the construction would be finished, and we'd just be ready to go.
Very cool, man.
Yeah.
Well, so what are maybe 3 tools? You mentioned StreamYard. What are maybe 3 tools that you guys are utilizing right now to help in this time, technology wise or whatever, services, anything?
Yeah. So StreamYard was a huge one for sure. And we've used that. We just, when the whole pandemic started, we jumped into Life Church's online platform that we've never done before. So we now have a live.discoverychurch.cc, which is really cool. That gives people an avenue to stream on our website. Yeah, I mean,
so you guys are utilizing that. Are you, where are most people watching, I guess?
Facebook.
Yeah.
But I think once we go back to a live service on Sundays, I'm not sure I want to continue the Facebook live stream. I think I want to do it either the live.discoverychurch or YouTube. I think those are just, like, again, going back to what we were talking about earlier, just the Facebook, when we do a premiere, like seeing those numbers fluctuate, I'm not quite sure that Facebook is really designed to keep that person's attention for so long, so.
Yeah. I think I know most people are watching for us on Facebook.
Yeah.
But the reason they're watching on Facebook, in fact, in my house, we have it through YouTube on the TV. And then my wife and I both have it pulled up on our phones on Facebook because we can chat with people
right
on Facebook. So we're utilizing the chat features, and I'm kind of acting as moderator and other sort of stuff at the same time. And so that's why we utilize Facebook, because of the social reach really is the reason for it.
Right. Yeah.
But I totally get when you're looking at like the analytics, Facebook is like, yeah, that was a 2-second view. You're like, okay, who cares? 2 seconds. Come on. But it's really funny to watch names pop in that you don't expect, like friends of yours. You're like, hey, so-and-so's in here.
Yeah.
And so that's just kind of a funny side benefit of it, is you can kind of see people just kind of spy for a minute.
Right.
And
right.
They're not anticipating that you can see their name.
Right. They're like, oh crap. exit.
Like, hey, Johnny. And they're like, oh no, I'm not, it's like, it's like suddenly they're like, oh no.
Yeah.
But it's a fun thing. I enjoy the commenting back and forth. And actually in our services, I try to create moments where it's, I'm asking people to do things like that.
Right.
Like, hey, if you've ever had this, let me know. If you got something to praise God for, please, if you got a prayer request, if you agree with this, just trying to increase the interaction. Not only does it keep them engaged better, but it also triggers the algorithm a little bit more to push it out to more people.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
So when you have a ton of interaction, whether it's likes, comments, shares, whatever, it's going to be like, oh, this is good. People like this. We should push this in front of more people.
Yeah.
Because ultimately this in some way will make us money. And so that's their whole purpose. Anyway, so we've been utilizing, we're premiering on Facebook and YouTube. I've been using a program called Ecamm Live. I'm using it right now to push my camera feed to this right now. Watch. Okay. I'll show you something. I can push something up here. Let's see. just put like something on the screen, and then I can push it on there. Oh man, what's the update? Let's see if I can get it. See, it's in the middle there.
Oh yeah.
So there's all kinds of features you can do through Ecamm Live, and it pushes stuff kind of like I think it's similar to StreamYard in that way.
Okay.
So you can put things on the screen, but it also connects with another service that pushes it out to a bunch of social services. So initially, I wasn't doing the Premiere option, like uploading and scheduling a Premiere. I was pushing it simulated live through Ecamm Live to Facebook, Instagram, Periscope, and YouTube, and the gamer platform.
Twitch?
Yeah. So I was doing all those just because I'm like, we can, so why not? And then I started having little glitches with my internet, and I'm like, this is not. On Mother's Day, I had it was like colossal failure. Like it would not play correctly to the internet, and I finally had to just shut it down and be like, go look for it later on YouTube. I can't do this anymore. And then emailed the link out later.
Wow.
So I stopped doing that for that. But after the service, I am right now streaming to Instagram Live from Ecamm Live, the service as like a replay.
Oh, wow.
Instagram is not set up for long-term viewership either. Okay. So there's only been a few people who actually stick through an entire service. But people jump in and out. And if we had like a shorter thing, if it was like 10 minutes, I think it'd be better. So I don't have time to create a 10-minute thing on its own right now.
How long do you go for?
So our entire service is about 30 minutes right now. So we've got like a volunteer host. So I've got a guy who, I write the script. I got an intern who takes his camera, goes videos the host, and then sends me the file. And then we may have some sort of fun thing towards the beginning of the service. Like we've been doing a segment called At Home with the Haugans. You remember Paul Haugen?
Oh, yeah, man.
Yeah. So Paul was at New Vintage Church with me for about a year. And so his family's here, and he's got 4 kids. So they basically do like a family YouTube video. And it's At Home with the Haugans. They're showing you ways to entertain your family, have fun together. So it's like a 4 or 5 minute video. This last Sunday, it was like a Nerf war thing they did. So we've got the host, then they kicked it to the At Home with the Haugans, and then I came in, did a short intro, and then I kicked it over to worship, 2 songs, and then into message like 12, 15 minutes right now. When we were in person, I was 40 to 50 minutes.
Wow. So
it's really cut down from an in-person thing.
Yeah.
And part of that is just editing out all the stuff.
Isn't that nice though?
Yeah, it is. It is. So editing out all the extra stuff, all the stuff that doesn't matter, all the stuff that's just like me saying, where was I? And things like that. Just edit it out.
Yes.
Or like I have to cough. Okay, so I cough, and then I just restart that little section, cut it out. And I have 2 camera angles. So when I have to cut something out, I just switch camera angles so it looks like nothing happened. Exactly. Yeah. Or when I'm reading scripture, I'll put it on the screen so you're not looking at me anyway. So I'll just read it. So anyway, so then message, and then a little outro from our host, and then we're done for the day. And right now, whoever is our host, I'm also asking them to do a short vertical video of them saying, hey, I had the pleasure of being our host today. Let us know your big takeaway. And we post that later to Facebook and Instagram. So I was trying to create some different things.
Oh, cool.
Just engaging things for people.
Yeah.
And we've had, I think since we started utilizing a host, we've had like 12 different people do it. And that is a great way to just get someone else on the screen.
Sure.
Because I hate if it's just like the Micah show and I have to do it. If I'm the person who's on the screen the entire time, I feel like that's incredibly boring. So at least for me and my family. So I like seeing variety of people.
Yeah, it's a great point.
How are you guys? Are you guys videoing worship right now? Segments?
So we did at the very beginning, we were just doing like YouTube videos of people doing worship.
Okay.
So
like grabbing whoever.
Yeah. Literally, man, we would rip a YouTube video of like Maverick City or Hillsong, and then we just put words to it and did it that way.
They make them with words half the time.
What was that?
I think they make them with words half the time.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I never did it. But so we did that. And then we started shooting like an acoustic version of our worship band. And we shot like, I think we have 12 songs. Mm-hmm. And so we just cycle those. Yeah. And so it's been fairly easy with that. So, but yeah, man, it's pretty cool. Like we recorded it, edited it. Like we look like a YouTube music video, you know?
Right. That's what, I mean, we've had 3 worship recording sessions now. And so like every 6 weeks or so we got a fresh batch. So we'll do like 10 songs or something. We'll like block out a couple hours. We'll do 10 song recording in someone's living room. It's like 3 people, 2 people.
Yeah.
And we'll have like 3 or 4 cameras set up so that we could switch and have some sort of movement. And so that's what we do too. And then we just cut them each song, and then we can slam whichever songs we want together for that week.
Yep.
And it's been great. And our people who are doing the worship, the musicians, are like, they're very thankful for like a break from the normal, like every week, because most of them were every week players and very busy lives and had a lot going on. And so now they're enjoying a different pace. Like it's, hey, we devote a couple of hours every 6 weeks. We get this done. And then they're, everyone gets to enjoy those songs for 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Which is great. So then also what we do is we release those. So like say we do 2 songs on Sunday, I schedule a release of those individually, 1 per Wednesday. So like a worship Wednesday.
Okay. Yeah.
YouTube, it just goes live. So that, it gets more use out of it too. And people can be encouraged by it. Sometimes we post it on Instagram. So yeah, man, we can utilize this stuff so many ways, right?
Right. Yeah.
That's the thing about, I think the thing about what's really interesting about where we're at is you spend all this time preparing a message, or you spend all this time preparing something you want to give to the people, to encourage them, to challenge them, what have you. And in the past, we would take the message and we would just take that and then repost it on YouTube, just in case, on the off chance someone wants to catch up with what we're going through or whatever. But most of the time, nobody cares. So, so now with the opportunity we have now, it's like it's on there, and then we can repurpose that in so many ways. I didn't have time to repurpose anything before. And now we can repurpose things in so many ways and cut pieces out and use it over here or whatnot.
Right.
And point people back to what we're really trying to do, just lead people to Jesus.
Right.
And so anyway, yeah, lots of opportunity.
Yeah.
Interesting time, man. It is an interesting time. Let me tell you.
Yeah. I'm constantly talking with other pastors like, yo, what's going on? Like, occupation change, right? Like,
hey man, there's going to be a lot of occupation changes, not just for pastors, but every industry is being disrupted. True. We've had people lose their jobs. There's one lady in our church who's had her job for 20 years. She just lost her job. They just eliminated her position.
Golly.
And so, but her and her husband have done this amazing thing. They've said, you know what? I haven't really been happy in this job for a long time. I jumped into it early in my career just because it was an opportunity, but I never took the time to figure out, is this really what I want to do? And they took a Dave Ramsey financial course last year. And so they've been like paying down debt and doing all that kind of stuff. And as soon as she lost her job, they're like, you know what? We need to downsize our house and we need to sell this thing and we need to downsize. And then we'll start figuring out, what do I want to do? Do I want to go back to school? Do I want to pursue a different kind of career or whatever? So they're changing their lifestyle to create more space for her not to have to rush directly into something.
Wow.
And I'm like, well, good for you. You know, like you're not just like, first of all, you're not panicking. You're like, it's okay.
Right.
It's all right. I've been there for 20 years and I'm dispensable. Fine. God's got me. So there's a lot of that happening, man. A lot of people losing their jobs. We have had a couple of people lose their jobs and regain them.
Oh, wow.
But now with new shutdowns, you know, they may lose them again.
Oh, yeah, man.
And that, thankfully, we've had some amazing people who have continued in their generosity to the mission of the church.
Yeah.
And they've continued to invest. And, you know, there have been plenty of people who haven't. Sure. Right. And I'm sure all for great reasons. I'm not judging them. I don't think anything poorly of them. But there's been some people also who have maintained generosity that has enabled us not to worry about it thus far. And I don't know about you guys, but we did get that PPP loan thing.
Yeah. So I was going to apply for that, man, but we just end up not. Yeah. Like I tried and it was just too hard, man, to figure out. So I was
I tried too. And I thought the same thing. I was like, this is too hard. This is hard. I don't understand all of this. And then the bank called me and was like, hey, we saw like a week ago, you have an unfinished application. We want to help you get this. So let us help you through it. So then they helped me through it. Wow. And I was like, oh, okay. Well,
my bank is horrible then.
Sounds good. I mean, it was a bank that I think they're a little bit smaller than the bigger banks. And so they wanted to see more of that come through their bank. But
yeah, well, that's awesome that you guys got it.
Yeah. So now we have to get it forgiven. So now there's a different application and process for that. So.
Oh, was that stated in the contract or?
Yeah, they said there would be, there were stipulations for how you could use it, what you use it for. We've been using it all for payroll. Sure. So nothing else. Yeah. Especially since we're not paying rent, which was one of the things you could use it for, or mortgage or whatnot. So we've been using it for all payroll, and we have a bookkeeper that's keeping track of the spending of that. We haven't used it all yet, and initially it was like you have to use it within 2.5 months.
Oh wow!
And it was for 2.5 months of whatever you applied for. So, but they've extended it a little bit. They've extended, the application process. I think they actually just had the final cutoff for getting it, like last week or something. Okay. So, and I'll tell you what, planting a church, I never wanted to know all the other stuff that has nothing to do with what you really want to do. You know what I mean? All the business side, all the bank stuff. And I don't want to deal with that. Like nobody wants to deal with that stuff, but it's necessary and you have to. It's just one of those necessary things of being a pastor.
I'll tell you what, man, seminary never prepared me for this. I'm not quite sure exactly what they prepared me for, but
you know how to read the Bible, right?
Cheers.
You know how to read the Bible. It's one of the things, man. Man, I really appreciate you hanging out with me. It's been about an hour, and I don't want to keep you
cool, man.
From all the things you need to do in life and ministry. Blessings to your family, your church. I hope that you guys can really kick butt at the end of this 5 years.
Yeah.
Like you said, going into the next season. Man, I just appreciate you. Appreciate what you're doing in Sonoma County. We love Sonoma County. You know, we lived there for 4 years.
Yeah.
And so there's a piece of our hearts there. 2 of our kids were born there. So there is a piece of our heart that will always be there. So thanks for loving the people there.
Yeah, man. Thank you again for having me, bro. This is fun, man. And just being, I feel like I haven't seen your face in like
I know
a long time. Right? So I think this is really older. Cool. What? No, dude, you look the same, bro.
Got more wrinkles.
You look, man. You look good, man. You look good.
Hey, one last thing. Tell us where people can find you if they wanted to, let's say they're in Sonoma County or they're wanting to invest in a church plant or whatever. Yeah. And they happen to stumble upon this little thing. And they're like, man, I like that John guy. How can they find you?
Yeah. So discoverychurch.cc is our website, or for just me is John Pita Jr. at John Pita Jr. On Instagram. I don't really know what it is on Facebook. It might be the same thing. But yeah, man, that's Instagram. Awesome. Instagram's where it's at.
Oh, I thought it was TikTok. No, it's not Instagram.
Oh, TikTok. Yeah. Dude, they try to get me on a TikTok, bro. I'm like, I don't even know what that is, man. That's how I know I'm old. I hate it.
It's a weird thing, man. It's a weird thing. I've done some TikToks. Actually, I do have one that's just a simple how to read a Bible, and it's had like a lot of views, a lot of interaction. Really? Yeah. Just a simple. Here, let me see real quick. I haven't even checked it in several days, but let me see what it says.
I want to watch it.
It's very simple. I mean, you can only do a minute, right? So you got to fit everything you want to say in a minute. And so anyway, I just created one. But off that one video, I got like 5,000 followers. Ooh. It's ridiculous, right?
Influencer.
And then I haven't been able to replicate the thing. So it says 120,000 views on that.
Bro, I'm not worthy.
Listen, there are teenagers who like pick their nose and they have 30 million views. So let's not make it more than this.
Send me that link. I want to see what that is.
Yeah,
I might just try to do the same exact thing and see if I can.
Just do the counter explanation. Like do the opposite. No, he's wrong. Here's how you really do it.
Ooh, yeah.
And then you get a lot. Yes. Oh my gosh. The funny thing is, after you have 1,000 followers on TikTok, you can go live on TikTok. Which is where it's at. That's where the fun is. Right. So anyway,
you got 500, you said, from that?
5,000 followers from that.
Oh, so you can go live now.
Yeah. Ooh. So there's collectively, I'm looking at the stats. Collectively, there's over 890 hours of view time. It's a minute long. 890 hours. That means people are watching it multiple times to like get it.
Wow.
That's just insane to me. Nothing.
Yeah.
No other place have I ever spoken any word of anything has it had that much view time. It's just crazy.
So are you utilizing the live on TikTok or what?
I have. Before the pandemic, I used it. Okay. The pandemic hit and I had to shift a lot of what I was doing and how I was doing it. And I didn't, and it created less time for me to do that. And so I'd like to use it more, but man, I haven't been doing it the last couple months.
Yeah. Honestly, man, like I kind of didn't jump on the TikTok train because someone told me like it was like China's spy or something like that. Is that like a thing?
I don't know.
Did you hear that?
Listen, I did see some rumors about, perhaps US considering banning TikTok, whatever. And I don't care. They can ban it if they want to. And like, and it could be deleted off the App Store and deleted off our phones overnight.
Yeah.
Because they probably have the technology to do that.
Yeah. Sure.
But that's just as scary. So I don't know if it's spying, but who cares? What if they're spying? Well, I don't care if someone's spying.
Yeah.
Do you care if someone spies on you? I mean,
I don't
want them to, it's weird.
I've never bought.
Why do you care? I'm not like a state, like senator or something. Like, who cares what Micah Foster's saying in his private conversations or whatever?
Yeah, dude, I bought into the media hype, bro. Like, I can't buy into the hype when it comes to COVID. You might want to cut that part out. But the TikTok hype, man, like I'm eating it up, man.
I'm eating it up, man. Yeah, no. I mean, I get it. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's a tool. It's got its pluses and minuses. I mean, the worst thing about it is it's created for addiction. But I think pretty much all social media is.
Social, yeah. But
it is really it's really targeting your dopamine. I mean, it's trying to get you. Yeah. So if you utilize it, you utilize it for the sake of people on it. Sure. Not to get other people on it, or that's how I it's just a tool.
Yeah.
That's a tool you can use or throw away or use it for a minute and say, yeah, you don't build your life around it.
Yeah, man. Well, I'm going to check out your video and if I could duplicate it, because I think that's part of TikTok too, right? Is like copying things.
Yeah, there are.
At least a dance.
You can use the audio of it and act it out like for anything. That's probably, there's a lot of funny things. There's a lot of inappropriate things. And if you get on TikTok, you'll immediately be bombarded with the whole gamut because they're trying to learn what you'll watch.
Gotcha.
So the first thing I tell people to do if they're going to be on there is clean your feed. That means if anything is like offensive, inappropriate, you immediately swipe so that the algorithm knows you're not going to watch those things. And then it feeds it to you less and less and less until you've got the kinds of things that, are good for you or are better for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm not putting my son on it.
Right. Yeah. Cool. Hey, does your son do Roblox?
He does Roblox. He doesn't do it as much because now he's like all Fortnite right now. Yeah.
Dude, my son wants to do Fortnite, but I was
How old is he?
9.
Yeah.
And so, but I just don't know, I don't know enough about it, man. So I don't want random guys chatting up. You know what I'm saying? And I don't even know if that's how it works. Clearly I'm a little prehistoric when it comes to.
So what you can do is you can download it and try it. And just vet it, play a couple games and then decide what you think.
Yeah. But
yeah, my son's on it. He plays. The interesting thing is there's a teenager that goes to our church that streams on YouTube. He's a gaming streamer. What's really insane is he's made $5,000 or something off of this. So crazy. Can you imagine? I had Atari and Super Nintendo. Can you imagine if I made money from playing that? I would have never left my bedroom. But during COVID, he can't do anything anyways. And so he's streaming every day. And so my son will go play while he's streaming and playing the same game.
Oh, cool.
And my son has his own little YouTube channel as well. And he'll do these little Fortnite update things. Oh, this is the new thing on Fortnite here. This Wednesday, cars are coming. He told me or this Friday, cars are coming to the thing. You could drive them. He told me this morning. He was all excited. I was like, oh, okay, cool. But the neighbor kids and the dad play. And so it's kind of a thing to connect with random people over too.
Sure.
Yeah. Creates a different.
My son is going to be grateful for you because
don't make a decision based off of what I say. You go check it out for yourself. I mean, yeah, there could be weird stuff that happens, but I think, and I don't let my how old is he now? 6-year-old play, even though he desperately wants to. Just because I don't think he's ready for it. And there are other kids he knows that do play that are his age. I'm like, that's fine. That's their decision. I'm not judging them.
Right.
It's just where we're at. I don't think you're ready for it. I think you learn some things like if there are some people that like get really mad when they lose a game or something, they'll end up throwing their controllers. Well, I don't think you should be playing. Yeah. If you rage over things like that, I don't think you should be playing. So it's a really interesting thing because he really, really wants to play, but I'm just not there, and he's not there with his development to really handle it, I don't think. Yeah. And I think everybody's got to kind of make those judgments for themselves. I don't think there's a one size fits all. Yeah. But I do think we have to teach our kids how to be good digital citizens as early as they interact with technology.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So they will interact with technology at some point in their life, unless you go live in the mountains with no power. It'll just be, ancient technology.
Right.
But if your kids are ever going to have a phone, if your kids are ever going to have a Switch or a computer or an iPad or a Kindle or whatever, or a smart TV, we have to teach them how to appropriately interact with those things and the people that are on the other end of the other side of the screens, because they're going to interact with people at some point.
Yeah.
It's just a fact. So I think trying to teach them. So I'm always like, my son, Josiah, my oldest, he's 10. So he asks me every time he wants to subscribe to a YouTube channel, he texts me, which is really funny, and asks me, can I subscribe to this person? And then I'll go check out their channel. I'll go watch a couple videos. I'll scrub through a couple videos. I'll read some comments, and I'll make a judgment call based on what I see. Right. Do I think it's okay? Do I think it's promoting anything that is a little off or what have you? And so sometimes I'll say, this one's okay, but this one's not. And he'll be like, why? I'm like, well, I just don't think it's good for you.
Yeah.
And it'll be just like a comment the person said or whatever. And most of them are just, gamers or what have you. And I don't know. I feel like as long as I'm invited into the conversation, that's really helpful.
Yeah,
if he starts doing it on his own, then I know he's trying to get around Dad's opinion. And then we have a different conversation.
Right.
And I'm sure at some point something like that will happen. Right. And then we'll have to have, hey man, I know you feel you're old enough and mature enough to make these decisions.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. But there's just things you don't know.
Yeah.
And I don't know, they're going to get the game more and more savvy. Right. You said, I don't get it with TikTok. I understand. Do you remember when Snapchat came out?
Yeah.
I downloaded it to try it out to see what it was, because I want to know what's going on. And I was like, I don't get this. And I frankly, I don't like this.
Yeah.
It's just annoying to me. I don't know what's happening. It's annoying. And I try to utilize it a little bit. But I can never really, I didn't get it. And, so I saw what it was. I saw what it was there for. I made a judgment call for myself. And And then I was able to talk, like if parents asked me about it, I was able to tell them what I saw or what I felt about it. But I encourage them to all make their own decision for their own family.
Yeah.
That digital citizenship thing, man. They got to know what you put out is out
forever.
It's not,
bro.
You can't bottle it back up.
Yeah. I don't think I could have been a pastor if social media was around when I was in college, man. You know what I'm saying? Oh, Lord Jesus. Yeah.
Grace is good.
Yeah.
Grace is good, man. Well, that was a lot of fun. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for listening. John and I could have talked for hours on end, but we've got other responsibilities as well. So God bless you guys. Thank you for listening. And I'd love it if you would subscribe to the YouTube channel and the podcast. Wherever you listen to your podcast, you can find it. And we'd love for you to share this content with other people that you feel like it would bless or be helpful to. God bless you. See you in the next one.